want to take a moment to talk about gun-free zones. The reason I'm against them is because it doesn't protect the American people, especially our schools. Politically, gun-free zones prevent us as a society from having to deal with real issues. Why is it that they think it is okay to prevent law-abiding citizens from carrying firearms in certain locations? It has already been proven that people who don't obey the law aren't going to obey the law. It's dangerous. Now, how do you feel about guns on school campuses? John Lott asked the question. Would you feel safer with a sign on your house saying, "This house is a gun free zone"? But if you wouldn't put these signs on your home, why put them elsewhere? Most college campuses in the United States are considered gun free zones. By allowing students to possess a lawful firearm, many violent attacks may be prevented, saving innocent lives. The definition of a mass shooting for the Stanford database is three or more shooting victims injured or killed. This isn't including the shooter. Also, shootings that are gang or drug related are not included. Virtually all mass public shootings take place in gun free zones in states with extremely strict gun laws. Many colleges go to the extreme by not allowing students to have a gun in his or her car while on the premises. In 22 states, students are allowed to lawfully carry on campus. For example, let's look at Colorado State University. They recently allowed students to lawfully carry with a concealed carrier license, also known as CCL. And facts show crime has declined tremendously over the years to 61%. Students have the right to defend themselves, whether it be at school, home, vacation, anywhere, from a dangerous situation such as public mass shootings or terrorist attacks. Mass shootings have increased since 1995, and since 2002, there have been 153 mass shootings in which the assailant intended to kill large numbers of people at random. Research done at the Heritage Foundation found that 54 of the 153 incidents, which is 35%, involved a shooter targeting people at random who are not relatives or adversaries of the attempted murderers. According to heritage.org, of the 54 incidents that fit these criteria, the shooter chose locations where guns were banned 37 times, 69%. Alternatively, the shooting occurred where guns were legally allowed only 17 times, 31%. Of the 17 shootings that occurred where citizens could legally carry firearms, 29% were ended when the gunman was stopped or slowed by a gun permit holder's intervention. Mass killers have even openly talked about their desire to attack gun-free zones. The Charleston, South Carolina church shooting was almost a college shooting, but that killer changed his plans after realizing that the College of Charleston had armed guards. It is not difficult to understand why the shooters cannot be stopped immediately. The facts show if you allow students and staff with accurate training and self-discipline to carry lawfully, schools will be safer environments. Lawful permitted gun carriers are most likely to stop the deranged shooter. But others on the opposite side argue that you cannot give irresponsible students the right to carry on school grounds. If that's the case, And why do we have our military men and women who are often college age fighting for our freedoms with weapons, firearms? Would you call them irresponsible? If there are armed students and staff, the deranged criminal would not be able to overpower the crowd. If there's nothing done about gun-free zones, America will continue to struggle, losing various amounts of innocent victims. We're talking about Americans, especially our little precious children. This matter is not something you just sweep under the rug. Gun-free zones do not discourage criminals. They help them by offering a guarantee that they will not face any armed resistance. Policies making areas gun-free provide a sense of safety to those who engage in magical thinking. But in practice, of course, killers aren't stopped by gun-free zones. It's just a political statement. As always, it's the honest people, the very ones you want to be armed, who tend to obey the law. Gun-free zones are premised on a lie that murderers will follow rules, and that people like me, a student, are at a greater danger to those around them than grazed killers. That's an insult to honest people. Sometimes it's a deadly one. The notion that more guns means more crime is totally wrong. In fact, a gun ownership has expanded over the past decade. Crime has gone down. We're talking about years, crime has gone down because of more gun ownership. Although guns are a topic of huge debate today, it is of great importance. People should not have to fear for their safety while obtaining an education. Now, by creating a way for students to become educated on safety and the use of firearms, we can ensure a sense of security. Since there is no way to guarantee the absence of violence, it is imperative that our students are prepared for the worst case scenarios or scenario. Shooters have good reason to be concerned. Here are some examples from the past few years showing how effective it is having a carrying permit and saving lives with it. In Conyers, Georgia, May 31st, 2015, a permit holder was walking by a store when he heard shots ring out. 2 people were killed. The permit holder started firing, and the killer ran out of the store. Rockdale County Sheriff Eric Levitt said, "I believe that if Mr. Scott did not return fire at the suspect, then more of those customers would have been hit by a gunshot. So, in my opinion, he saved other lives in that store." Have another one in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, March 2015. A small permit holder was walking by a barber shop. When he heard shots fired, he quickly ran into the shop and shot the gunman to death. Police Captain Frank Lillewin said, "I guess he saved a lot of people in there." In conclusion, if you have a choice to be in a gun-free zone or a legal to carry setting, you are less likely to be the victim of a mass shooting where it is legal to carry a gun lawfully, legally. All else being equal, if a killer can strike where he is less likely to face lethal law-abiding resistance from ordinary citizens, he will. And thank y'all for your time. Have a nice day.